Hi, happy Tantra Tuesday. Coming to you a little early today because I'll be at a tantric speed dating event tonight. And today I want to chat about newness and keeping things fresh, particularly in the realm of relationship. How do you keep things new and fresh when you're in it for the long haul? And if you think about seeing someone, a person, over and over and over every day of your life, you start to have a certain expectation of them. You start to have a knowingness. Well, I know what they look like. I know how they're going to react. I might even be able to finish their sentence. And if you know everything about someone, where's the space for exploration? Where's the space for discovering new things? Those are all of the key ingredients to passion. So let's break this down a little bit and look at it from both a scientific and a tantric perspective. So from a scientific perspective, you are new every 7 years. Your entire body is brand new every 7 years. Not a cell in your body is the same. And most of your organs are completely new amalgamation of cells after about a year. So really, we're actually not the same person that we were 1 year, 2 year, 3 years ago. And so this person in front of you has changed. And not only in their physical body, but their thought processes have changed. They're evolving every single day. So really, you have a new person in front of you every single day. Now, from a tantric perspective, we are very much matching the scientific perspective in that nothing is the same. You know, you've heard that saying that the only thing that's constant is change. Well, it applies here. All of our activities as a human, and really, you know, from a very macrocosmic point of view, all that happens is the divine moving and shifting and going into different states. And there's 5 main acts of the divine in Tantra. And the idea is that this essence of life, this existence that makes up everything, that makes up you, that makes up me, that makes up the trees and the sky, that essence is shifting and changing forms, changing acts, but it's just the same essence moving through all of these things. So it's changing constantly. It's never still. And the 5 main acts of the divine, I'm going to share with you right now to give a little understanding for this talk. So the first one is the act of creation. When a baby is born, when you do anything creative, when you have an idea for a new song, or you speak to your friend about a new thought or new inspiration, this is the divine creating through you. The second is destruction or dissolution. So the divine is in this mode, is carrying out this act when you realize that you need to move on from a situation or a circumstance. Maybe there's someone in your life that your paths have run their course. You've given each other all the gifts that you're meant to, and it's time to part ways. And this is a tough one for us. The dissolution, the destruction is so hard because sometimes we forget that it's one of the natural acts of the divine. It's when you leave a job that is okay, and you have the courage to put in your notice and quit and go for the job that you love. Destruction is the necessary precursor to creation. Just like everything in nature moves through cycles, and something has to die. The plants have to die in winter so that they can come back fresh and new and create new patterns of life in summer and spring. So we've got creation, destruction, and the third one is sustenance or preservation. Preservation Is the divine flowing through you, beating your heart, your lungs, giving oxygen to your whole body, all of the processes in your body and in your family and in your relationships that maintain it. That's the divine carrying out its act, divine act of sustenance, preservation. Next we have concealment or forgetting. Here's another interesting one. So we talked earlier about looking into the eyes of a baby. And in that moment, or when a baby is born, it's so easy to see sacredness. So easy to see how life is beautiful and holy. But what about when someone cuts you off in traffic? How easy is it to see the divine just cruising through right when you were trying to turn and cutting you off and almost causing an accident? Well, that takes a bit more of a calibrated eye to see the divine. But if that happens to you in the next few days or months, remember that it's nothing more than the divine expressing its act of concealment. Or perhaps you read on the news about something that just doesn't seem right. Like, how can those people treat the environment like that? How can they treat other people like that? The divine is concealing itself. They are carrying out this act of concealment and forgetting the interconnectedness of everything, forgetting the deep, inherent sacredness of every being on this planet. In Tantra, there isn't a dual way of looking at things. There isn't necessarily a box for good and a box for bad. Everything is considered part of this whole tapestry of the essence, the existence, the divinity that we're made up of. And so even those things that appear challenging or unfair are still the divine. They're still divine, carrying out that act of forgetting or concealment. And the final act of the divine is the act of revealment, of grace. And again, those baby's eyes, when you look in them and you see that life is a miracle, and there's just no question about the beauty that's held in our experience. That's the divine revealing itself. If you've ever had, maybe in a tantric workshop or spontaneously, an experience of meeting another human and seeing them at their core, seeing their essence, and how miraculous they are, how huge they are, and that spark of recognition, that's the divine revealing itself. That's grace coming through. Spiritual awakening, the divine revealing itself. So these are the 5 acts of the divine. And we are constantly shifting. We're ebbing and flowing through these acts on both a personal level, relationship level, on a world scale level. And so the movement is always happening. Even if something looks like it's staying the same, there is a movement through these 5 stages. And so with that as our background, our foundation, I want to give you a couple of practices to find this newness in your life. And we're going to go to the relational realm here. These practices can be modified to be used in any aspect of your life. But we're going to start there because this is one that sometimes trips us up. So practice number 1. Let's say you are in a relationship with someone. And now this can be a romantic relationship. This can be a familial relationship, even a work relationship. And this is someone that you think you know very well. So one exercise that I sometimes do with my clients is have them look at something from a different set of eyes, from the eyes of, say, an alien. It's a little out there, but an alien might have never seen a human being before. So if you can imagine looking from the perspective of a being who's just come here to this earth for the first time, who's never seen a human, is not quite sure what this this entity is, what it's all about. What are all these different parts? Why is there hairy parts here and here? And why are there these long spindly things? And what do they do? All the questions that, if you use your imagination a little bit, you can imagine you would ask if you were seeing a human being for the first time. So if you can put on your alien goggles and just wipe the slate blank, wipe everything that you know about that person blank, and take the knob of curiosity and turn that all the way up. You might want to close your eyes and take a couple of breaths as you put these glasses on, come into this altered state, and then look at the person in front of you and see if you can notice anything different. Become really, really curious. You can ask questions like, I wonder what it's like to experience life from their perspective right now. Like, what does this moment feel like to this person? Because you can guarantee it feels a lot different to them than it does to you. You can ponder, when they do something. This is a good one, when they do something that's just outrageous. And there's a temptation to get frustrated or mad. What if you took an authentic curiosity to that and said, well, I wonder what it was, what sequence of events in their life led to them taking that action? It's so mysterious. Why? And if you can really, truly access this curiosity in an authentic way, it can really help your conversations. Instead of just saying, I can't believe you did that, or why did you do that? From a place of criticism, whether you mean it or not, might sound critical. If you could really turn the knob up on your curiosity and ask them, I'm just curious, I would love to know, how did you come to that decision? Why did you do that? I know there's a reason. I trust there's a reason. And I would love to hear about it and your process. That can be a way to bridge the gap of communication when something that you don't understand, something challenging has happened. You can also look at their body and get curious. Like, wonder what it would be like to have such big feet or such small feet. I wonder what it would be like to be that tall, to have a different access to things when you're reaching or getting in and out of a plane. Everyone's experience of a plane is completely different because we all have very different body types. So this exercise asks you to go back to a little child. There's a concept in Buddhism called the child's mind. And it's a way that we can approach things with this fresh blank slate, this sense of curiosity. So try that out. Try getting super curious about this person. And then the second piece is looking for new things that you haven't seen before. So you might have seen them a million times, but is it possible that there is one freckle that you haven't noticed before? You can even lift up their arm and look under their armpit, or if you have that level of intimacy, or look around the hairline of their face. See if you can notice anything new, anything different. And then get curious about the particularities, like the exact shade of color of their eyes. Like, are you completely clear on the exact shade? They have blue eyes. Okay, you know that. But do you know exactly what shade of blue? Could you memorize that shade of blue? Or their hair. What is the exact shade of the color of their hair? And you can look across the whole body like this. They have a very precise curvature of shoulders. Everyone does. Does it slope down? Is it straight across? Notice all the different contours and curves. And once you get on a roll, you can really get going with this. Suddenly, all of these new things will pop out that you haven't considered before. And you can start to notice things. Maybe they speak in a new tone. Maybe there's a new idea. Maybe there's just a new energy around them today. And the kind of overarching theme of this whole practice is being very present. Because from a kind of obvious view, if you just see them walking down and you're looking through your peripheral vision, they're not going to look that different. But if you can get a little more granular, you'll start to notice that every single day there is something new about this person. So I hope you enjoy this practice, and I will see you next Tuesday. Have a beautiful day.